not-so-big house is really organized in a very different way than a standard house. At its core is a main living place. It's the place where we actually live every day. And off that are the kitchen, the dining area, and then a number of alcoves that serve different functions. For example, you might have a place for the kids to do their homework. You might have a place to watch TV. You might have a place to pay bills in the evening. All of these things can happen as part and parcel of one area. That's really at the core of the not-so-big house. When I first started planning to build my own house, I wanted it to embody a lot of these ideas that had been percolating in my head about how we really live. In fact, I thought at one point about remodeling the house I was living in, which was a 1904 house, but that was built based on a very, very different lifestyle. If you look at some of those turn-of-the-century houses, you'll see that the formal living room and the formal dining room were obviously where most of the living happened. The kitchen, which today is where we live, at that time was a dirty and smelly operation that they kept well out of the way of the living spaces. And that was certainly the truth of my 1904 house. And then I started also to look at how we build most houses today. They've got the formal living room, the formal dining room, and the kitchen family room. So they have a lot of space that we're not using very effectively. And this really confirmed for me that we need a new model. We need a different way of thinking about house. And so as I began to build my own not-so-big house, I looked at what was I going to put in those main spaces to build something that allowed me to use my money effectively. I didn't have a huge budget at the time, and in fact built a main level that had about 940 square feet with kitchen, dining, and living space, all part of one area. So there's a nice flow of space. And then it's got lots of places and small details within that simple space that add a lot of character. So in a not-so-big house, every room is in use every day. And we've reapportioned dollars out of the square footage that we don't use anymore, and we've put them instead into the quality and character of space that makes it an expression of ourselves, and that's a reflection of the way that we actually live today. Now, I want you to go back in your memory for a second to when you were 2, 3, 4 years old, and remember that kind of enclosed place that you loved to hang out in. For me, it was the cupboard under the stairs where I could have the door open. I had this wonderful spot, but I could look out at the rest of the world. For this child, she's adopted the cardboard box that the oven came in, and she's made it her own little house. Remember that sense of space. Now, in our houses today, we need that quality of space. We need a place where we feel that sense of shelter, but we also have that sense of connection to everything surrounding us. Well, the fact is that we can build those kinds of spaces, and when we do, our house feels much more personal and much more engaging for us. So we have a new key principle here, which is very simple.